Reporting from Arkham Asylum, this is Gotham Rogues. In this video we take a look at Arkham Asylum's first appearance. Today is my birthday. Well, not actually when I'm recording this, but I'm hoping to have it uploaded on my birthday. That is on the 20th of March. I'm turning 27 by the way. Anyway, I figured it would be fitting to talk about a very special comic. Denny O'Neil and Novick's Threat of the Two-Headed Coin, published in Batman 258 in 1974. It's special for two reasons. One, it's historically important, as it features the first appearance of Arkham Asylum. And two, it's important for me personally as well, as it's the second Batman comic I ever read, and the first Two-Face comic I ever read. I bought an old Swedish reprint of it, way back in the summer of 2004, at a place that sold old used books, movies, records, and of course comics. I did buy the original comic, Batman 258, on my comicshop.com a couple of years ago though. It cost quite a penny, around $15 I think, while my old Swedish version cost 10 crowns, which is about $1. Anyway, let's get into the review. In the story, Two-Face is sprung from the asylum by General John Harris, an ex-military man who's turned rogue. Harris has devised a plot to hijack a shipment of uranium ore, which he will use to create an atom bomb. A weapon the General intends to hold the entire city of Washington DC hostage with. Harris needs the criminal genius of Harvey Dent to pull off the heist though, and suggests a partnership which Harvey accepts after a coin flip. Two-Face won't settle for being number 2 in the organization though, showing Harris who's truly the top dog with a mighty bitch slap, which seems to be Harvey's signature move in this comic. Kicked out of his own unit, the disgruntled ex-general turns himself into the law, spilling the beans on the entire scheme to get back at Two-Face. It's now up to Batman to stop Harvey from totally annihilating the capital of the United States. That's quite a grand scheme there. I don't think any of the classic Bat-Rogues had pulled off a crime on such a large scale before. I do really like this comic. Obviously it holds a lot of nostalgic value to me, but it's not too bad of a story either. Harvey's motivations, while kind of simple, are still fairly compelling, as he's not in it for the ransom money. Well, he is, but yet he's not. You see, he's planning to use the money to pay off the people around him to not notice his hideous scarring and live a lie of beauty. He's even ready to sacrifice himself and actually detonate the bomb, unless the demands are met before a time limit. This being the 70s, the take on Two-Face was still the old school, shunned freak version, cast out of society due to his physical appearance. I'd say that this is the best Two-Face story since the original Two-Face trilogy from the early 40s, as in everything between that, Harvey was simply motivated by greed. His relationship with Batman is also interesting here, as we got a sort of poetic rivalry established for the first time. At one point, Two-Face says that their battles are like a familiar drama that he's grown used to over the years. And later, Harvey taunts a captured Batman to admit that he is the greater genius of the two. He seems to respect the Dark Knight and is not interested in actually killing him. There are more interesting bits like this in the comic, but I'm not going to mention them all here. So what about Arkham Asylum? Well, it's actually called Arkham Hospital in this story, and is for some reason located in New England. That's a long drive for Bruce every time he's captured one of the rogues. Arkham isn't really featured much in the comic, actually only in the introduction where Two-Face is busted out by General Harris. It was a pretty unceremonious introduction of the place. We do get an awesome cameo by the Joker though, which really thrilled a 14-year-old rogues. Just seeing these two villains together was really cool to me. Anyway, during Harvey's breakout, the Joker pleads to Dent to let him out as well, to which Two-Face responds by flipping his coin. Unfortunately for Joker, the wrong side comes up. Denny O'Neil actually created Arkham specifically for these two villains. He felt that Two-Face and Joker were simply far too crazy to be held in a regular prison. As good as this story is, there are some odd parts that prevent it from being perfect. Robin is in this comic as a guest star, as he stopped appearing regularly in Batman stories after moving to Hudson University in 1969. However, right before the climax, when things are the most dire and Harvey is just about to blow the bomb, Dick suddenly bows out, claiming he's had enough and has to get back to his studies at Hudson. Really, Dick? What a dick. I suspect O'Neill had Robin do this so that Batman and Two-Face would be alone during their final confrontation, but really, there must have been a better way to write him out of the story than this. Also, why would General Harris hire Harvey Dent, a completely unpredictable, deranged lunatic, to help him with his scheme? Makes no sense. As for the artwork, it's good old Novick at his best. His drawings are very dynamic and expressive. I love his Batman, Two-Face and Joker, just classic Bronze Age. It's a bit boring that Harvey wears ordinary plain clothes though, and never his iconic two-toned suit. So there you have it. That's Arkham Asylum's first appearance, a comic that happens to be very special to me. Remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.